What's up,
All right.
everybody? Alright, what's up? No, it's good. I want to make sure. What's up, everybody? I am Jesse, or GameOverJesse, as all of you may know me. Here with us on episode 20-something for the Highlands Gamescast, could be episode 30, is our co-host Daniel.
Hey,
We
that's me.
are doing this one-on-one today. No co-hosts. Kayla's not here. Miss Click isn't here. Holly Wolf isn't here. RMFH, everyone is gone. It is just us for the day. We have maybe a quick podcast for you. We have a few pieces of news, starting out with a new management and stuff from Nintendo. Then we're going to be going into answering your questions, which you can submit on our Discord that you can join in the link below. You can comment them below on the video or the Zelda mailbag videos, or you can head over to patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can give $1 and guarantee your question to be answered live on the show and become the title of the video as well. So,
Your name.
yeah,
No.
yes,
no, your
Daniel,
question.
what is our first piece of news?
Okay. Kimishima, who stepped in as president after the late Satoru Iwata's
Oh, hold on,
passing.
you had a bonus quick piece of news for us.
Oh, the bonus news. I kind of went over the bonus news while you stepped away. I could go over that real quick.
Do so.
The bonus news is not really much newsworthy, but thought I should mention it, that apparently Splatoon 2's Octo expansion, you can get in Japan download cards rather than getting it from the eShop for some reason. I don't know if you would want to do it. Someone in the chat before said that they did that for Breath of the Wild in Japan as well.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I guess that's the thing they do there. Not everything is eShop. If you want to save space on your console,
It was odd they had
I'd like to.
They already have 2 editions of Breath of the Wild out. The
Mhm.
Explorers edition, which just has different artwork and a book. Literally
Mhm.
the same game code, though.
Yeah.
And the normal edition of Breath of the Wild. And it's kind of curious on why they didn't just wait like 2 more months and release like an $80 Breath of the Wild edition with the DLC included.
Yeah, like a Game of the Year
Yeah.
edition.
But I guess they could do that next year. And then they can, instead of double dipping, which is what a lot of people do when they release a game, and then the Game of the Year edition, they can triple dip. They can be like, this time it comes with a book about Breath of the Wild's timeline, and everybody will be like, well, I've already bought the game twice, but I need this book.
I need the book, though.
Actually, a lot of people bought it like 3 or 4 times. Like the Collector's
Nice.
Edition, the original game, the Explorer's Edition. Did you get the
Why?
Collector's Edition?
I know I've only got just the base game that I got on release date. That's it.
Alright, take us into our first piece of news, Daniel.
Yes, the real news. One that's actually worth really discussing. So, after Satoru Iwata passed away, Tatsumi Kimishima came in to fill the role as president and CEO of Nintendo. He was very outright saying that it was going to be a temporary position, but then it's been 3 years now. He's still in the position. Dude is retiring, though, so there's going to be some big management shifts within Nintendo. I should probably mention that the article that I found for this comes from NintendoEverything.com. So,
Do we know
It's
what
a
he did
good
before he
source.
was president? Was he like vice president?
Uh,
or...
he was like somewhere, I think, in the business or marketing side of Nintendo. I don't remember exactly what he was doing there, but I know that was kind of he didn't have the background in the development side like Iwata did, more in the business side. Like their president before that, whose name escapes me at this moment. The president before Iwata, but since then, let's see. Since Kimishima will be retiring, Furukawa will be taking over as president and CEO. Now, Furukawa joined Nintendo in 1994, and he worked in global marketing and at the Pokemon Company since 2016. So Furukawa has been Nintendo's managing executive officer, supervisor of corporate analysis and administrative division, and director. So, like Kimishima, more of a guy on the business side of Nintendo rather than the development side, unlike Iwata. So which I don't think is bad. You know, keep the developers developing the games and the business folks running the financial side. It makes sense. Though I think Iwata had insights that you wouldn't get from someone who is in business, but that's there's no going back to Iwata, so that's just simply not an option. So, but it'll be interesting. I liked Kimishima. I was skeptical when he stepped into the role of how he was going to perform because he's so different from Iwata. But yeah, he's done a good job so far, I think. So Kimishima will officially step down on June 28th, apparently, and he'll remain at Nintendo as an advisor, but he will be officially retired. So kind of a side gig for him, I guess. I don't know. Almost like going part-time. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts, Jesse?
I'm excited for this. Like, when he took over, a lot of people were like, oh, like he did such a great job, like, bringing out the Nintendo Switch and all this stuff. And they think, like, as soon as a new person comes in charge of the company, that they automatically are responsible for absolutely everything that goes on while they're president, when in reality, like, the Switch probably started development around a year or two after the Wii U launched. Like, as soon as, like, there is an entire team, an entire department who's dedicated to just coming up with whatever the next big console is. Previously, they had the handheld and then the home console team, so they would be working on the 3DS, like, as soon as the DS released, and then they worked on the Wii U a little bit after the Wii released. And they come up with, like, 5 or 6 ideas, they choose one, and then they fully flesh it out and develop it. And, like, I remember they said something like it took a team like 2 years or something like that just to come up with the right shape of the Wii U controller to make sure it was as comfortable as it could be. Seems like they should have taken even longer to come up with it. But yeah, I remember in the article there was like molds and stuff where they would like sculpt it out of clay, they would sculpt it out of wood to come up with like what it should look like. But anyways, the point that I'm trying to make is with the Nintendo Switch, it wasn't fully Kimishima's plans to bring it out, although he was the one in charge when it did come out. It was something that was started when Iwata was still alive and in charge, but it rolled over to Kimishima. So whatever the next console's coming out, like if they don't do well, a lot of people are going to look at this new guy and be like, well, when Kimishima was in charge, we had the Nintendo Switch. This guy comes out and we have the Wii U too. So it doesn't quite work like that. Whatever is coming out next was likely in like pre-production, or not pre-production, but like early design phases before Kimishima even came in charge. Like as soon as they came up with the final proposal for the Switch, they probably had a small team working on ideas for whatever the next thing would be. So that's all I want to say about it. Is like any bad things that come out just because this new guy is going to be in charge doesn't necessarily make it his fault. Yeah.
And I've seen comments where people are like you've mentioned, how people will assume that the new guy is going to be, that Furukawa will be, you know, in charge of everything. So I've seen comments on Facebook, even like comments on the articles and stuff like that, where people are like, okay, well, now that we're having a new president, maybe they'll do this better, or maybe they'll make the next Zelda game like this. And I'm like, that's not... He's not in the bullpen with the game developers dictating how they do. The Zelda team probably just operate like that's not how a company works, man. So honestly, I don't see too much changing overall, because Nintendo will always be Nintendo at heart, and there's so many things in a company that large where they've got boards of directors, shareholders, and so many levels of management that they may all be answering to Kimishima, but that doesn't mean that he makes every decision in the whole company. That's just he wouldn't have time to do that. There's too much stuff going on at Nintendo.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, yes. But sort of tied into that news, while we're on the role of management moving around, obviously when someone leaves, someone else has to fill that role, then someone has to fill that role, and like everyone gets sort of shuffled around, right? So, in the midst of all this management shuffle, Shinya Takahashi and Yoshiaki Koizumi are also getting...
It's the Mario guy. And
the Mario guy.
It's the Mario guy and the person who's on stage during the Nintendo Switch presentation showing off the ice in the Switch.
Exactly. Yeah, the guy with the Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
And like
Lazily,
he's shaking the ice cubes in them.
He's like, you can play on your couch, you can relax and play. And it was like the most awkward presentation because he was trying to be all casual, but it's like you're in a suit and tie, you're on stage at a Nintendo presentation, it's not quite natural. But I get what they were
like Koizumi though. He's been with Nintendo for a really long time as well, and he is pretty much what Onuma is to Zelda, he was to Mario Odyssey as well. And like just in that role, and also the influence over the direction that he was wielding. And obviously Takahashi as well, been with Nintendo for a long time. So they are moving up from their current roles as General Manager of Entertainment Planning and Development Division and Senior Managing Executive Officer into Koizumi will be... Oh my goodness, my computer's not letting... It's being so slow I can't scroll down on the article. So Takahashi will become...
third in charge, I believe.
Third in charge of the company. Koizumi will be taking on executive officer role on the board of directors. So they're all getting some nice big fat raises.
The hierarchy in Nintendo is the guy that's taking over Takahashi. No, the guy that's taking over the president position.
Furukawa.
Yeah, is obviously going to be the number one in charge. Number two is Miyamoto, which I think fits him perfect because it means he has almost absolute control in Nintendo, but he's not the one who's making every single executive decision, which leaves him open to worry about creating new ideas and new games, as opposed to... Because you don't want to take someone who is so creative and has so many ideas of coming up with stuff and just make them handle all the business work. You want them to handle half the business, which his business part of it mainly includes teaching new people that are coming up how to take over. Like, he put Aonuma in charge of the Mario, he put Koizuma, I believe, in charge, or he put Aonuma in charge of Zelda, sorry, and Koizuma in charge of Mario. He is... I think he had something to do with like bringing the team on of all of the young developers who came up with Splatoon. So he's giving tips and hints, or not hints, but tips and stuff to all these people on how to come up with successful properties, what it means to create a Mario game, what it means to create a Zelda game, and teaching them all of the stuff that he's learned over the 30, 40 years of his development. And then he's also coming up with new ideas, which we've seen. The pack-in game with Star Fox Zero was a new idea that he showed off at E3, and then it became did I say Star Wars? I meant Star Fox. Yeah, and then he had the giant robo game that you would play with the Wii U, but apparently now that turned into the
Labo.
The Labo robot thing. So there's a lot of creative ideas that he has, although none of them are like big AAA games. They're just like little fun ideas. But yeah, I guess we can move on to our next piece of news. So take us to the Nintendo E3 plans. It's the last one on the Skype.
I will once my computer gets me there.
Alright.
It's being
that gives me a couple of minutes
slow.
to promote
yes
the thing, because I still need to post it on the Twitter and Facebook.
The Twitter. Okay. My computer's not this slow normally. Usually I have like tons of things going on the... I don't know. I don't know. Also, RPG in the chat. There's a bit of chatter in the chat about the next console or improving the Switch and stuff. RPG, I think, kind of nails it, that if they're going to make improvements to the Switch, getting the new Tegra chipset would be a bigger priority logically, rather than trying to push for 4K or an XL console. I wholeheartedly agree, RPG. Just wanted to put that out there while I'm waiting for this thing to load. Okay. Polygon is the source of this article.